Jacksonville doesn't announce itself. It just wins people over. You don't need a headline to feel this one. The city isn't loud about the change. It's just getting better where it actually matters. Cities don't change because TikTok says they're cool. They change when people move here, live it for a year, and say, yeah, we're staying. That's what's happening right now. Certain neighborhoods feel tighter. Certain pockets don't shut down at night anymore, and spots nobody cared about 5 years ago are suddenly getting that look like, wait, did I miss something? I'm not gonna pretend Jacksonville's perfect. It's not. You're gonna drive. Welcome to I-295. The sprawl is real. But what you get back is space, random weekday beach days, and a lifestyle that doesn't feel like it's constantly squeezing you. That trade-off is why people are picking Jacksonville with their eyes open now. The only real question is where you land in that timeline. I've seen this movie before, and not from behind a spreadsheet. Jacksonville doesn't hook people fast, it hooks them deep. People land here thinking it's temporary. Cheap rent, decent weather, a pit stop. This isn't theory for me, it's lived. Then a few months pass. They've got a coffee spot that knows their order. They're at the gym before sunrise, windows down, warm air. They know the back way to the beach. They're cruising over the Buckman at sunrise and not even thinking about it anymore. And suddenly, they're arguing about neighborhoods like locals and saying, yeah, I don't think we're leaving. That's when the exit plan disappears. This isn't because Jacksonville changed overnight. It's because people slowed down enough to notice what's been there the whole time. Space, pace, a life that doesn't feel like it's charging you a convenience fee just to exist. And that's where it gets interesting, because the real story isn't the numbers or the headlines. It's the lifestyle shift underneath all of it, the part nobody really talks about. And from there, the dominoes line up. This part doesn't photograph well, but it matters most. People aren't moving to Jacksonville because it's booming or trendy. They're moving because their day-to-day life stops feeling like a grind. This city lowers your blood pressure, and that's way stronger reason to stay. I see this play out all the time. Clients show up saying they're just testing it, renting for a year, no big decisions. And it never starts with the house. It starts with the rhythm. Mornings feel calmer. You're not waking up clenched. You grab coffee without rushing. You hit the road without bracing for impact. And errands don't feel like combat. Suddenly, life feels manageable again. It isn't just vibes. The stats tell the same story people do. Jacksonville's population is growing every single year, and almost all the growth is coming from people choosing to move here, not birth rates. HUD and census data show household growth actually outpacing population growth, which tells you something important. It's adults reshaping their lives, not just numbers on a chart. That's also why Jacksonville feels different than other Florida metros. We still have land, we can still build. While places like Miami and Tampa fight scarcity, Jacksonville keeps adding housing, which keeps pressure off daily life. You feel that when you're driving down San Jose, when you're cutting through Bay Meadows, when you're not stuck bidding against 20 other people just to exist in a different place. And here's the wild part. Regional forecasts have Jacksonville on track for roughly 11% growth between 2023 and 2028, but it doesn't feel chaotic. It feels spread out. You've got Duval, St. John's, Clay, Nassau counties. The whole area is absorbing it. And that's why you get space without isolation, growth without constant friction. If this lifestyle shift is what you're looking for, this is the moment to stop watching and actually get clarity. We're the local Jacksonville, Florida metro area real estate team of choice. We live here, we work these neighborhoods daily, and we help people turn this lifestyle into the right move, not a rushed one. All of our information is in the description. You can call us, text us, or email us, and we'll help you decide if Jacksonville truly fits what you're trying to build, not just on paper, but in real life. Momentum here shows up unevenly. Pressure shows up quietly in specific pockets, and you feel it long before it becomes a headline. These are the places where daily life starts tightening first, not because of hype, but because people arrive, settle in, and they stay. Start south. Bartram Park, Mandarin, Bay Meadows, these corridors didn't spike overnight. They absorbed momentum, more cars in the school drop-off lines, more joggers before sunrise, more lights on in kitchens at 6 a.m. You smell fresh-cut grass instead of brake dust, commutes stay tolerable, back patios that actually get used. Drive San Jose Boulevard during the week and you can actually feel it. This is where families and professionals land when they want calm without isolation. And then swing east a little. Neptune Beach, Jax Beach, totally different rhythm. Surfboards on roof before work, dogs out before the heat hits, coffee lines that turn into conversations. By afternoon, it's salt in the air and sunburns. By night, live music, patio dinners, bikes rolling home under the string lights. The flip from day to night is real. It's why these areas feel alive without feeling chaotic. What's happening on the ground lines up with the numbers. According to HUD data, Jacksonville's household growth is running roughly 20 to 25% faster than the population growth. And that matters. It means demand shows up first in places that balance walkability, school access, and commuter sanity, not just square footage. People aren't picking random zip codes. They're choosing a daily rhythm, and these pockets feel tighter, more intentional, more lived in because of it. Quick gut check. When you picture yourself here, which version shows up first? Backyard evenings and quiet streets? Or bikes, coffee shops, and salt in the air? Drop your vibe in the comments. I read them all, and it helps shape what we break down next. Because this pressure doesn't stop at lifestyle, it starts bending the market. It changes how buyers move, how sellers think, and which homes feel invisible versus inevitable. Most people lump Jacksonville into the same mental bucket as every other Florida boom city. Fast growth, hot market, probably overheated. That assumption misses what's actually happening here. This isn't a spike, it's a system. And here's the difference. Boomtowns grow because everyone piles in all at once. Jacksonville grows because people keep arriving year after year, and the city can actually absorb them. Census and HUD data show Jacksonville adding people at around 2% annually, driven mostly by adults relocating on purpose. It's not speculation, not short-term churn, real life moves. This kind of growth doesn't vanish when the headlines cool off. Now look at housing. In most Florida metros, demand hits a wall because supply can't respond. Jacksonville doesn't have that problem yet. We still permit aggressively, ranking among the top metros nationally for housing permits per capita. Translation: pressure releases instead of exploding. Inventory rises without panic. Prices normalize instead of snapping. That's structure doing its job. You can see it physically if you know the city. Growth doesn't suffocate one downtown grid, it circulates. Around the I-295 loop, toward Cecil, toward the south side, outward instead of inward. Duval takes some pressure, St. Johns County takes some, and then Clay and Nassau counties catch the rest. That description is why Jacksonville feels livable even while it's growing. It bends instead of breaking. State economists expect growth statewide to cool later this decade, but that's not a threat here. It's a stress test Jacksonville is built to pass. Cities built on scarcity feel pain when momentum slows. Cities built on flexibility adjust. Jacksonville adjusts. And here's the pivot most people miss. Structure alone doesn't create momentum. Jobs do. And when you look at what's happening with employment, investment, and infrastructure here right now, the picture sharpens fast. This is also why some neighborhoods feel calm right now, and others are about to feel very different. Widen the lens for a minute. Big growth almost never starts with housing. It starts quietly. A job announcement here, a capital investment there, a runway expansion, a port upgrade, a road project that doesn't make headlines. Stack enough of those together and suddenly demand shows up everywhere all at once. Most people only notice the last domino. That's exactly what's happening right now. In 2025 alone, Northeast Florida announced 2,400 plus new jobs and nearly $1 billion in capital investment. And that's not one shiny sector carrying the load. Manufacturing, logistics, finance, and tech are all moving at the same time. You've got expansions like Swisher's manufacturing project, Danone's expansion adding around 200 jobs, and the push to build a fintech ecosystem through JaxHub with partners like PaySafe and UNF. That kind of diversity matters. That balance is the safety net. It keeps momentum from snapping when one sector slows. Then there are the steeper plays. Cecil Airport isn't just a map label. It's an active pursuit of an aircraft manufacturing operation that could build a massive wave of jobs and private investment. You hear it when longtime locals talk about that side of town differently now. More trucks on the road, more people asking what's coming next. One decision turns into an entire ecosystem. Infrastructure is what allows all of this to actually come to fruition. Jacksport is nearly doubling container capacity, reinforcing Jacksonville's role as a logistics hub. Jacksonville International Airport is in the middle of a major Concourse B expansion, adding gates and parking to handle growth through 2026. Major work around I-95, I-295, and I-10 keeps freight and commuters moving instead of bottleneck. None of this is flashy. All of it is essential. In the cities that invest in the boring stuff, well, they tend to win. Here's the domino most people miss. When jobs and infrastructure expand together, housing demand doesn't just increase, it spreads. Pressure shows up in waves, following commute patterns, employment nodes, and quality of life trade-offs. That's why demand doesn't collapse into one hot zip code. It ripples outward, reshaping multiple neighborhoods at once. And when that ripple hits the housing market, behavior changes. Buyers move with more than one intention. Sellers gain leverage in some pockets and patience in others. Timing starts to matter more than headlines. That's where strategy replaces guesswork. When lifestyle pressure, structural growth, and job momentum all line up, the market stops swinging wildly. Jacksonville isn't a feeding frenzy anymore, and it's not a clearance rack either. It's selective. That's the word. And selective markets reward people who move with intention. Buyers feel the change first. Inventory has climbed back toward balance, and according to Redfin, the average home is now sitting around 70 days instead of 2 weekends. That's the leverage without chaos. More choice, more time to think. You're seeing price adjustments, seller credits, and real negotiation again, especially away from the hottest pockets along the south side in the I-295 loop, where demand still holds firm. Speed isn't the advantage right now. Precision is, knowing which homes are priced wrong, which sellers are flexible, and which areas still move fast no matter what. First house, next house, or last one, the city actually has a lane for it. Sellers are playing a different game too. Homes that are dialed in still sell. Homes chasing last year's numbers still are confused. There's no longer competing with 10 other offers. You're competing against options. Presentation matters, pricing matters, timing matters. Sellers who understand the shift still win. Sellers who ignore it end up learning patience the expensive way. You can watch this play out across the city. Properties near strong commute corridors and newer construction zones still move with confidence. Others need sharper positioning and better expectations. That's not bad news, it's clarity. And clarity favors people who actually understand the local pulse instead of guessing off headlines. In a lot of these pockets, you're talking 10-minute school runs, 15 minutes to town center, and still home before traffic gets stupid. Quick check-in. If you're thinking about making a move here, which side are you on right now? Buyer, seller, or watching from the sidelines? Drop it in the comments. That moment matters more than most people realize, because waiting feels comfortable, watching feels responsible. But in the market like this, standing still has a cost. Miss the wrong window, and the leverage had quietly evaporates. This isn't a sharp turn, it's a long curve. And the next piece explains why. Biggest risk in this market isn't overpaying. It's waiting too long for a version of certainty that never shows up. Jacksonville doesn't move in straight lines. It breathes, it pulses, and then momentum sneaks back in. It does it quietly. There's no sirens, no warnings, just fewer options and firmer prices. Right now, a lot of people are stuck in pause mode. They're watching rates, watching headlines, watching inventory tick up. It feels smart, maybe even responsible. But here's the reality. According to realtor.com, the average home here is still moving in roughly 65 to 75 days, which means leverage exists, but it's not infinite. Markets like this don't reward perfect timing. They reward prepared timing. Miss the pocket where the leverage lives, and the conversation shifts fast from negotiation to competition. You can already feel it in specific corners of town. Along the stretches near the south side and the town center, homes that sat quietly start tightening up. Showings creep into weekdays instead of just Saturdays. Sellers who were flexible suddenly aren't as negotiable anymore. It's nothing dramatic, just subtle pressure returning. That's usually how the window starts closing. And this isn't about panic buying or rushing decisions. It's about opportunity cost. Every month you wait, prices don't need to spike for the math to change. Insurance adjusts, rents creep, inventory thins in the neighborhoods people actually want to live in. Momentum doesn't ask permission before it shifts. That's what ties this whole thing together. Before we land this plane, I want to know, are you watching this as a maybe or a move you're already circling? Most people think waiting brings clarity. In a market like Jacksonville, it usually just thins the options. That's the thorough line of everything we just walked through. Lifestyle momentum is real, the growth is structural, and timing quietly reshapes outcomes long before the headlines catch up. We see it happen in real time. Someone who waited for a perfect signal ended up competing again in the same Southside pocket that had leverage weeks earlier. Someone else adjusted early, priced with the shift, and moved on clean while nearby listings stalled. Same city, same moment, different decision. Guessing is what gets expensive, not because prices explode overnight, but because windows here don't slam shut, they narrow. And most people don't notice until the leverage they had is already gone. And this is what we help people navigate every single day. If you want to walk through your situation, you can call us, text us, or email us. Heck, you can even shoot us a DM. Our info is in the description. There's no pressure, just real clarity. If you want to keep learning the city, queue up one of our playlists. The next video breaks down where people are actually moving right now and why certain areas are pulling ahead faster than others. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.